Alright, I've got a discount for you. We're talking Xbox Live. Loads of gaming discounts. All you have to do is go to my description, copy my code from the description, paste my code. Woof, it's gaming time. Alright, so this thing here is the MacBook Air, and I'm gotta say, one of my most popular videos with the most likes is why this thing is a dud or why this thing is a fail. And yeah, I gotta say, it's not a bad laptop. It's actually okay. Now, the things I said in that, they still stand. You get a much better screen if you go to a MacBook Pro. It's brighter, it's got wider color gamut, etc. You get much more processing power. Now, on the plus side of this one here, you get better battery life or slightly better battery life, and it is slightly lighter as well and cost less. Now, for the $100 US, I recommend getting the MacBook Pro. But the person that lent me this, and I've only had this for 24 hours, and I've got to give it back to him today. So it's not my normal review where I do lots of, photos and, capture all my testing and stuff like that. I've thoroughly tested it. Don't worry about that. eGPU, everything, content creation, gaming. But I'm just going to talk about it because I've got to give it back. So I told him to get a Surface Book 3. It'll be cheaper than this and much better processor, quad core, Ice Lake, much better graphics, better display, but they don't want Windows. So, and they don't want to pay MacBook Pro price. They got this on a deal for like, $1,450 or something, 1,400 Australian. So this is $1,699 Australian. This is the price of this. So it's okay for a Mac, I guess. And yes, the Core wide processor, I was worried about it. It's fine. If you're just doing web surfing and stuff like that, it's fine. I'd much rather have this than, say, an iPad Pro, which, I've had a Surface Book 3. I don't like connecting keyboards and stuff like that. And they're all right for content consumption, but content creation, no, just... This isn't for content creation, let me be clear. But the performance surprised me. First of all, I heard Chris Marquardt say that he uses a MacBook Air 4. He's a photographer. He uses MacBook Air for his, his field photography because he just wants something thin and light. The performance in Lightroom actually quite fast. And these, I haven't rendered any previews. All right, the export speed. When I tested the export, it's a bit over double what a MacBook Pro 13 would, export in. So the export speeds aren't that fast compared to, say, a 13-inch MacBook Pro. But the previews are genuinely quite snappy. And this CPU, I've tested it, all core burst, it will still maintain over 2 gigahertz. That's amazing for like a little sort of, it would maintain about 8 watts. In actual fact, here you can see, this is what I'm talking about, that gap. See how that's not in alignment? That there's a little bit of a gap there. It's like 0.5 mil. Yeah, that top is not aligned. That's what I was talking about on MacBook Pros. You've got to make sure the lid and the base is aligned, which actually this one is okay. I actually went into the develop module and yeah, no problems here either. Like I went in there and I went to say, for example, clarity, and look at it. It's pretty much instant. The old Core Y. And I even done a paintbrush. Where's the paintbrush? Went there and yeah, pretty much instant. Amazing that, something so, conceivably so low powered is actually quite fast. And I'll add a new brush, new one here, and we'll just make that clarity, or no, we'll make that exposure down. And yeah, it's pretty much instant. In Lightroom, you're getting decent performance. All right, the export speeds aren't as good as you would expect. And this is the base model. This only has 8 gigs RAM, 128 gig SSD. It's not quite as snappy, of course, as say a MacBook Pro 16 or even a 13. It just, you can tell it's got a Core Y. It's just not super snappy like those sort of laptops, but it's perfectly fine. If you haven't had a super fast, laptop, you wouldn't notice really the difference. So back in the day, which is only like a couple of years ago, all Ultrabooks had just dual core processors. And this feels like pretty much one of those from a couple of years ago before they had quad cores. So yeah, it's no different to those. the display actually looks a little bit washed out compared to, say, MacBook Pro 13 or 16. What do you expect? You know, it's not as bright either. It's like 400 nits, is it, or something like that. It's only 100% sRGB. It's not 100% P3. You can tell it just doesn't look as sharp, doesn't look as contrasty. It's a little bit washed out compared to, you know, MacBook Pro 13 and 16. But I'd say this competes very well with all the full HDs on like Windows laptops. So all those Ultrabooks with full HDs, this is as good as, if not better than those. So this is the project I test all laptops on, and you'll see more reflections now. This is actually really challenging. I've got light from up here, got light behind it, and light coming through a window. So this is very challenging, and still I can see it, no problems. Maybe the reflections on the camera aren't that good. But, you know, this is my 4K project I test every single laptop on. I'll just turn that down. The scrubbing's not too bad, but you can see here red, so it will not play the high resolution photos no matter what I do. That's just because it doesn't have enough video memory, all right? So that's one thing. Now, this is 4K with color correction, lumetri color. Let's see if it can play back that. And I already know the answer is no, but let's just see if we can do it. And you see no, all right? What do you expect? Core Y, very little video memory. But this is 4K, remember. Let's turn off the lumetri color. So there's no color correction now. So this is just 4K straight out of the camera, which is a Panasonic GH4 at the time. So let's see now if we can play 4K back at full. And what do you know? It's playing it back at full. Look at the green dot. It's playing 4K content back full resolution without the lumetri color. Now it won't do it. It does it for a while. There you go, it just dropped in. But playing back 4K content at full. Are you joking? Core Y MacBook Air. That is quite amazing. When I said, like the MacBook Pro 15, the 2016 or 2017 model, the quad-core model with the 560 or whatever it had in it, could not do that. It had to do it half to even do that. So that's quite amazing. Now, when you use an eGPU, all these red bars go away and you can play it back with the lumetri color with the eGPU. That's with the Radeon 7. So now the export times are still horrendous. I even thought because this had a T2, the render times would be good, but no. Obviously, when you use a T2 in a MacBook Pro 13 and 16, there's something else that uses too. Intel HD, or it uses more video memory. It shares memory from the video or something like that. I don't actually know what happens, but even exporting to H.265, even though this has a T2 chip in it, was like going to take nearly an hour to render this out. And both H.264 and 265 were going to take an hour to render this 5-minute 35 video or whatever it is. Now, connect an eGPU and it's less than 10 minutes. It's 9 minutes and 48 seconds or something. So that is amazing, because that MacBook Pro I was talking about, the MacBook Pro 2017, would take 25 minutes to do this same sort of thing. And yeah, that's a 15-inch with graphics card. Of course, Adobe have done a lot of updates since then, but amazing. Now, this can actually game. I connected an eGPU, I went into Windows and stuff like that. It can game. The CPU is a bottleneck. I'm not going to lie, the 1% lows are not great, but with an eGPU you can game. Civilization 6, no problems. Football Manager, no problems. Even on Mac OS, you're just going to have to lower the settings down, but perfectly fine for that sort of thing. But if you do want to play AAA titles, you can do it with an eGPU, but it's probably not recommended. I mean, if you have an eGPU with powerful graphics, I doubt you're going to have a MacBook Air, but it can be done. So even though I would consider this a netbook just for web surfing, email, stuff like that, you can do Lightroom, raw photos, no problems with that. The exporting speed's not the greatest, but still, just to edit photos, no problem. Premiere Pro 4K, it could do without an eGPU. The render times are horrendous, but you can actually edit 4K content in the timeline. I recommend, if you're gonna use this for video editing, stick to 1080p, because even that has its sort of limits there. With an eGPU, yeah, it'll be okay for 4K, but it really surprised me. It's quite a good package. It is overpriced still, compared to the Surface 3 laptop, which has Ice Lake CPUs, much better graphics, better display. Just, you know, it doesn't have the battery life of this, but other than that, it is a better laptop. But if you do have a Mac and you just want to web surf and stuff like that, yeah, I can recommend this. It's fine for just, you know, being a netbook. If you can spend that extra $100, I do recommend you go MacBook Pro 13. You're getting a much better, you know, computer. You'll be able to do 4K editing on that. But yeah, if you see a deal on these for Christmas, recommend picking one up. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Hope you found this enjoyable. I just slap up this video, let you know my thoughts on this MacBook Air. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Tally ho.